you guys, of course, are known for these levered ETFs, or 3 times up, 3 times down as well. You've got one called Want, and you're also known for your interesting tickers. SICK. What is it?
We've got Cure, Want,
Cure,
Talk.
SICK, Want, Need, Pass. Okay, so we said Christmas in July. If our viewers are very optimistic about consumer spending
Yes.
and consumer stocks doing well, what does this ETF do for them?
So what this ETF does is it gives them 3 times exposure to the underlying index, the Consumer Discretionary Select Sector Index. So that index has a huge holding of Amazon. It's been a leader. In July, it's been up about 8% so far. Our ETF is up about 3 times that. So it's a short-term opportunistic trade. And the reason we say Christmas in July is because Amazon had Prime Day, basically, for the last 2.5 days or so. And we expect that, some of the numbers out of that will be positive. And there are basically 3 parts that drive the economy. You have consumption, you have investments, you have export. Investments are sort of down.
Yep.
Exports, strong dollar, weaker global demand. But the consumer, we saw retail sales are still strong. So we think in the short term, consumer discretion may continue to rally.
Okay, the thing to know, though, you did say heavily weighted Amazon. I think I looked in, it was 24%
Yes.
of that is Amazon.
Right,
And I
and
think it was
multiply that
9%
times 3.
is Home Depot and then McDonald's.
Yes.
So really about 40% is 3 stocks, mostly Amazon. So this is a play, just so our viewers know, this is a play really on Amazon in a way.
It is. And when you take the 3X product, you're multiplying the holding of Amazon by 3. So you do get a significant exposure to that particular stock, which in the short term has done quite well. It's one of the top performing sectors over the last
And that is
months.
Want. What is Need?
So Need is consumer staples.
Yep.
Need is sort of that
Toothpaste.
Exactly. It's sort of that
Paper towels.
defensive play,
Yep.
right? Late cycle performer play. It's the consumer is going to sort of hold back, but they're going to keep buying toilet paper and toothpaste, as you said. So what you have there is really, the full list of staple names. And they tend to have, steady balance sheets, good net income, good dividends, and, they don't pop as much, lower beta to the market.
We got Netflix earnings that are out tonight. Netflix, of course, is a name everybody knows, and a lot of people out there may have invested in it. What products, if any, do you have that would highlight a name like a Netflix? Because if you're going to go big, I mean, these stocks can move big. So if you want to do a 3 times levered play on something, I mean, literally rolling the dice in a big way. Is there a way to play Netflix?
So 3X Communications is TAWK, T-A-W-K.
Of course it is.
We love our ticker.
Of course it is.
It's easy to remember. You get exposure to Netflix and also all of the other communications names. So, with Netflix, I think everybody always sort of looks for the subscriber number there, but now you have Disney making big plays, Comcast making big plays in streaming. And I think that, overall the sector is poised to have about 4% growth in earnings. So I think that if you're bullish on communications in general, TAWK is a great short-term trade to look at.
What about it? Is there any macro trade for the trade war? Is there a way to sort of play Europe or China or currency devaluation?
Yeah, so China has been a huge one. I would say that much of our flow over the last few months has been into the relative different China ETFs that we have. So one is a 3 beta play on MSCI China. It's called Yin. And then we also have China A shares, which is Chao, C-H-A-U. So you got onshore, and then you got sort of H shares. And those.
You got Yin. Is there a Yang?
There's a Yang.
There is a
That's
Yang.
The bear.
Of course there is.
If you're a bear, you're a Yang.
So if you're bearish on Chinese domestic stocks,
Because
Chinese stocks are very hard to buy here. If I want to go buy a stock in China, it's almost impossible.
You can't do it, right? Yeah, you pretty much can't do it.
I have to have like a local agent, and they buy it for me, and it's whatever.
Exactly. So with this, you're buying on the U.S. stock exchange. You can buy Chao if you're a bull, Chat if you're a bear for A shares.
Okay.
And then Yin.
That's the domestic market.
That's the domestic. Yin, Yang if you're essentially the international market, the H shares. So
that's the Hong Kong market.
The Hong Kong market. And I think, you asked, how do you play the trade truce? I think if we get a trade agreement and we see some of these things sort of simmer down, and we don't have Trump back on saying I can still impose tariffs.
So if you're negative on Hong Kong, they've had protests there. If you believe that Hong Kong listed stocks are going to struggle, you'd buy the Yang.
You'd buy the Yang. Yeah, you'd buy the Yang or the Chad. So the Chad is an inverse fund, and the Yang is a 3X fund. So one has sort of a higher caliber. But if you believe that it's sort of undervalued, low valuations, those stocks have done absolutely great prior to this month again, where we saw the uncertainty come back. Like post G20, the last tweet turned them around again. So they're certainly good for the long terms if you want to buy in a low, but in the short term, the inverse fund over the last 2 days has done quite well.